Oh, here we go.
Is everyone good?
Consent.
Well, hello, everyone.
I consent.
Fuck your consent. I don't consent to having to see your face. We're joined by Nugget today. Nugget, how you doing, mate?
Hello, Si, Andrew. How are you?
Good.
And Kieran.
And Kieran, how are you? Young Kieran, how are you?
It's all right, bro. It's the order of importance. It's all right.
I've realized when there's a fourth person on, Kieran, you say like 5% of what you normally say.
Man, you got to let them talk. They hear our voices enough. That's why we have guests on, to hear them
Well,
talk.
I'm just going to mute you now then.
You
You raised a very valid point, young man. I'll just mute you now.
Or do you reckon it's because of the thing you can only see two people? No, I can only see two people.
You serious?
That's your
the grid view
showing through, bro. That's your window showing through.
What do you mean? See, I'm with Andrew. We're all cunts. How do I get this thing? Where's the grid view?
Yes.
Where is the grid view?
Wait, I don't know how it works.
I've got nothing that says that, and I've got to stop touching this phone.
Yeah, so you can see the person talking.
I can only see the person talking.
Fantastic. So you won't have to see Kieran's face much at all. Nugget, how's things in Queensland? Do you guys have to do masks and shit, or is everything still?
The masks are back. I don't really listen. Paul Demacoli and that, and Tricky keep me up to date on what I got to do. And now I don't really, you know how it is.
And the gym's had a bit of a facelift touch up because he wasn't sick enough already. You've just
we just spent like I'd say estimate 15 grand on the MMA area. So we got rid of the cage. The cage was my idea. I don't know. I just wanted a cage, and then once it got there, no cunt used it. People just hurt themselves in it, like because the mats weren't so good on there. It was I don't really get it, but we got new mats in. Everything's like the wall where they live. I don't know what the fuck those wrestlers do, but it's the full kit and caboodle.
So who's doing the who's the in charge of the MMA program?
The MMA program will be run by a few of us. We have a guy. We're sourcing a coach, maybe an Iranian. You'd be happy at that. Wrestling coach. We're in negotiations now, and we've got a few other guys around the place here and there.
Get him all you can eat at that Sunshine Kebabs thing once a week. That'll be the deal maker.
There you go. That you reckon?
Kebabs. We can't pay you, but you can get this all you can eat kebab.
Can't pay you, but we can eat this.
And Justin Tapper on the weekend.
What a
fuck.
Yeah, he was an angry man. I know we're supposed to be talking about Muay Thai, but that whole heavyweight thing and them putting up the post saying UFC saying first heavyweight not to hit weight and all that in history, that's a load of shit. That Brock Lesnar didn't make weight with Mark Hunt. So to me, I think it was just, I don't know what the UFC was thinking. I don't know why they did that to him.
What weight did he have to make? I thought
I don't even know. I thought heavyweight was heavyweight.
I think upper heavyweight limit is 267 because the thing that happens is the Association of Boxing Commissions or whatever, they've got all these weight classes. So there's a super heavyweight as well, but the UFC just doesn't run it. But there is an upper limit to the heavyweight, which is I think like 267 or 265. And they're saying he missed it. And what he said in the press conference, like he was fucking super good about it and he owned it, but he goes, losing 25% or 30% of your purse over a pound at heavyweight is real hard because like a pound, like he didn't say, he goes a pound at heavyweight at 267 coming 268 compared to 115-pound chicks. Like 1 pound, it's like, I get it, but it's rough.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he did what he went there to do. He got the win. That's all people will remember.
And that head kick was just fucking unreal. Like,
and you know the funny part, Si? He hits every cunt down here with it on Wednesday nights. People think, wrestler. Man, Justin Taffer can kick. He's got a good leg kick, good head kick.
Yeah.
For a big guy.
Yeah, to get it up there, he kicked straight through his guard, eh?
Yeah, yeah.
But that's like, I don't know if you guys remember Clay Amategi. He runs a gym here now, and I saw him a few months ago, and I said, man, I remember being like 20 years old watching Tarek Solek's K1 Oceania qualify here, and Clay comes out in the full, like, the pants that look like the Samoan skirts and stuff, and he's this short, little, bald, giant dude. And then he head kicks some dude in the face, and I was like, how the fuck did that happen? It's just like comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And what's happening with Junior Tafo? Because I know he was supposed to do, I saw him in the corner, and I know he was going to be in the Contender Series, but obviously all the visa shit. And
yes, the visa stuff and the COVID stuff and everything. And then I think the fight might have fell through side. And then they wanted to get him another opponent, and he actually couldn't get to America at that stage. So, yeah. Look, I think the whole fight world, I think worldwide, we're all sitting in the same boat thinking, fuck, we just want this pandemic thing to fuck off and everyone to be able to travel again so you can get fights.
Yeah.
I heard an interview with Dana White yesterday. He said the UFC's audience grew 40% in the last year.
Yeah.
Because they were one of the only sporting organizations that kept doing live events. Like, he figured it out and did it, and their audience grew 40%.
It's crazy, eh?
Isn't it?
Jesus.
I think the Muay Thai audience probably dropped off 400%.
Yeah. But you got to look in Thailand. Even the Thais are struggling to put on show. Like, they've got shows, obviously, but they've got restrictions and they've got rules. Like, fuck, when Thailand's giving you rules, the world's in trouble.
They just brought back quarantine, or on the way to bring it back again too, eh? So I think they got a whole lot of problems going. I don't know what's going to happen next year. Like,
man, I haven't seen my daughter in 2 years. I've had a fucking relationship with my daughter on the phone like this.
Yeah.
Every night, chatting away. It's sad. It's sad. Hopefully I can try to get over there in January, but I'm actually not. I'm not confident.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do about the fights and that now too. I mean, just watching some of the fights lately, like last week, some of the TV shows, like the quality of even the Thais fighting.
I gotta get my food.
Been fucking terrible, eh? This guy. DoorDash.
Oh yeah, post the show sign.
Last week I was answering phone calls. This week he's picking up fucking food. But it's really interesting. Even down here, like, we got, I don't want to keep talking about it, but even the travel between states and stuff, I'm pretty stoked that we could even look at getting fights now in Queensland and that. But now, because of the testing and all that shit, we've got these huge lines, man. And if 72 hours, like, imagine being a promoter putting on a big fight from Sydney and we get to go up, or whoever's going up, and then you got to have a test 72 hours before, and then one of the boys gets it. It's a fucking...
Look, I look at it like this. I don't listen to the media. I just go with what's going on in my area where I'm living. Yeah. But I look to myself and think, fuck, the world's gone crazy. They say, oh yeah, we're going to give you this and we're going to give you international travel. And then next thing you know, they're saying, oh, then we're going to bring this back, and you can't beat the government. You just have to sit. You can play like you don't care, but you have to sit and wait and see what they're going to do.
Unless you're a Commonwealth officer, Nugget.
Hey?
Unless you're a Commonwealth officer.
Yeah, I don't know about the officer part, but I'm definitely just sitting in the line with everyone else.
So Nugget,
Kieran, you're not saying much. I'm waiting to get to know you.
Nugget, I'm letting you say it, man. We're 10 minutes in.
Hey, I'll give you a little cuddle.
Not saying much. I messaged Andrew because I felt bad because I didn't watch that fight on the weekend, and you're like, everyone's, how about Tapper's head kick? And I'm sitting here going, oh, fuck, I missed it. I didn't watch it. I'm just going to do my thing and stay
just
quiet.
Just going to ride it.
Just wait till we get past it. Wait till we get past it.
Like COVID.
Just like COVID, man. I'm just going to sit here, do my thing, man, and just wait till time passes, and then I'll just pop back up again.
How's that kebab, Si?
It's not a kebab. It's a Japanese vegetarian pancake.
Did you swallow it in one? It looks like it.
No, motherfucker, I didn't. There's still some. The only reason I want to go to Queensland at the moment is because that Sunshine Kebabs place of Nuggets. It's like every time I'm not eating, I log on and he's at a restaurant and his Instagram's the worst food thing in the world. If you're trying not to eat, it's just food.
All food.
So Nugget, I guess it's been a bit hard to gauge it the last couple of years, but being away and being back now in Queensland.
You really want to get me going, don't you? I see, you're poking the line.
He's pretty good. He's pretty good.
Because I want to eat. I'm like, throw it out there and let him go. What's the scene like now? And what do you think it's missing?
Look, I can't say that much because I've actually coming back to Australia. I actually said to myself, I'm going to stay away from the politics a bit, and I'm just going to focus on my own gym. So the last 2 years, and with COVID and that, there's not that much to see anyway. But I'm just focused on my own gym and building my own team. But what I see outside of my gym, man, I just shake my head. Like, where do we start? Like, they say, how do you fix it? Fuck. How did that happen? That's what I ask. How did some of these dudes, they rock around here like they're fucking Muay Thai masters. Oh, it's actually put me off Thai boxing. I prefer to go to the boxing. I prefer to go to the MMA because at least you might get a few fucking meatheads at the boxing and the MMA, but at least they love what they do. These cunts have built this imaginary world where they're like fucking gurus, and it's just crazy.
Nugget, what do you think about if you're just sitting in your thinking about your world? Then, what do you think about the boys and girls that are walking through your doors now, compared to what they might have sort of 10 and 15 years ago?
Look, without disrespecting people, I think the younger generation just feels so entitled and so like they expect so much more. Man, me, Josh Sexton, Brendan Humpty Short, fuck, we trained on cement. We had fucking rope as ring things. Man, people cry if they think something's dirty in the gym. It's just crazy. Yeah, I think just society in general. Even I was driving my mum to the airport on Monday morning, and she actually said, young people have got softer. Like when my fucking 75-year-old mum's telling me young people have got softer, there's something wrong with the world.
What do you reckon when you're going back to like the Queensland thing? Have you thought about what do you reckon might be a solution? Is it worth doing like we did a similar thing?
Pull out a gun and shoot half of them. No, that's a joke for the little kids listening. That was a joke.
You consented to this being recorded, man.
No. Look,
what's the solution from the bottom up? We start again.
I really believe, and I had a conversation with Daniel Bell, which I think he didn't like, but at the end of the day, half these people are their own problem. You can't, if you're going to control like an organization, or if you're going to take over and build something special, we go back to Evo, I know everyone says, fuck, let's stop talking about Evo, but man, no one's ever topped that, and I don't think they ever will. That was a fucking show, 10 years contract with Foxtel, Mark the Hammer's involvement. We had such a good team, and we had there was no, everyone's got an ego, but like it was all run well. We all helped each other, scratching each other's back. These days, everyone's all about me. I want to be the front. Sometimes you got to step back and just say, hey, it's like we take Rocky up to the fights in Townsville on the weekend. I don't train Rocky as boxing. Steve Wajenko does, and he does a fucking good job of it. So why am I going to jump up the front and be the big guy at the front? It's time for him. No one works in well, I think, anymore. I think it's if they want to fix it, they just have to like start from scratch and say, okay, everybody starts here. We start building together, and you'll see the movers and shakers pop out. When you'll see the guys that are just all this.
Yeah, because from the outside, I think the state we see the most, like every state's got its little bitching and stuff behind closed door, but the state where like people actually legitimately online having a go at each other about show dates and that stuff is Queensland, because every weekend.
It's the story of my life, side. You talk to guys when I'm not around, they've always got something smart to say or they'll have a go. But when I'm standing in a room, I'll slap their teeth out their head. So they're not going to say anything. That's half the thing. Fight sport's been built on real fighters, real people building it. Then I go away for 8 years, 7.5 years. I come back. Man, there's dudes that I remember buying tickets for Evo. They would come to the gym and buy tickets. Oh, could I have a ticket? And like, hey, now suddenly they're the bosses of stuff. There's something wrong with that. That's just me anyway.
It'd be interesting to see. I don't know, because it would be good to see. For me, growing up, Queensland was the place, and when I got the opportunity to go up there, and there were people like Joe Hilden, and then even fighting, and then looking opposite a corner and having someone like you or Paul Briggs or someone on the other side, you were like, "Fuck, I'm here." This is like New South Wales playing up in Queensland.
Yeah,
it's a thing, and you're like, "Yeah, wow." But I just now when you go up, you just don't have that same.
It's not the same. You get it, Andrew, because it's not the same vibe. But you try to tell those guys that, they'll think you're crazy. And like if I bring it up, people say, Nugget just thinks he's the best. But I don't think I'm the best, but I know what I have achieved in my life. And I know how I did it and what went with it. Some guys just don't like the truth.
So is it worth, like, I'm just thinking out loud, like something like we went up for your in-house show, and for me, I love grassroots stuff, and I love an event like that. For me, it's just a whole lot of fun, man. Like I do them at my gym. Your ones are on a whole nother level. Is something like that the key to bringing everyone together and moving on, or you just couldn't be like your
look?
I'm
done. 50 this year. I'm really sick of dealing with idiots. You know what I mean? So for me, I can make money at my gym, do my thing. I'm not saying I've lost my Queenslanderness, but I'm not going to just fucking run with all these idiots because they've worked their way into spots of power. You know what I mean? I'm always going to be me. I'm going to pull cunts up and say, hey, you're an imposter. It's simple. And I guess in that way, I can do two things. I either get people will say, oh, fuck yeah, he's right. Or they might say, oh, no, we just won't work with him. But we don't care. We got boxing. We work with Angelo DiCarlo and Ace Boxing. Steve's really got his weaves in everywhere in the boxing. We got Paul Demacoli here for the Muay Thai. And now we're slowly moving into MMA, and we've got a few fights getting offered from Eternal and that. So, yeah, I'm happy what I'm doing.
I'm curious, like with those, if you don't want to talk about it, that's cool. But like, with all the Taffa boys and all that, how does that tie in with NTG? Like, I know they're always there, and I see you guys playing chess and stuff like that, having a mad time and training hard. But like, as far as training goes, so do they base themselves out of your gym and then run?
They base themselves out of our gym. When I first came back to Australia, you can ask Paul Demacoli, many people. I wanted to make a gym that had gyms inside gyms.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Where like the base and how it goes from there. But it's like anything. Junior Justin and big coach is the big brother Gerard.
Yep.
And Buddy is the little brother. They come as four as a package. Slowly, they just do their own thing. They've been bitten so many times back in the day in fight, taking fights, like money didn't get paid, this and that. They know the fight game. They come here, and I guess from them sitting back watching, they thought, fuck, these guys look after us and they take care of us. And we started building in, and like every now and then I hold pads for Justin Taffa. I do a little bit with Junior. I do a little bit with the little brother Buddy. Big coach helps out with all. If we ask him, hey, bro, can you help us with this? Hey, he's always in there holding pads, helping out. So we've slowly just united, if that makes sense. But they can do their own thing. We're happy with it. But I think they like our system now. Like even Justin Taffa, hey, I look around. We have, let's say, 50 people sparring on a Wednesday night, and there's like a UFC heavyweight sparring dudes. Man, I couldn't even imagine what that'd feel like at that age if you had never fought and suddenly you're sparring with some UFC fighter you see fighting in a cage. But man, he's a gentleman. He works in with everybody. If you want to punch him in the face hard, he's going to punch you back. If you don't, yeah. And same with Ricky Silva. Same thing. He's sparring every Wednesday night, one of Steve's boxers. I do a little bit of work with him on Tuesday and Thursdays on the pads. So we all work in together. Yeah.
Nugget, was there something in particular or a moment that made you go like from running just NTG as a Muay Thai gym and then going away? And then was there something that made you go, nah, like I'm gonna go like combat?
Fucking Andrew's fucking mates, the Thais. I fucking can't stand them anymore. 8 years over there, in and out, here and there. I say it as a bit of a joke, but like, hey, I still love Thailand. Hey, my daughter's half Thai. I still love the country. I still love going there and hanging out. But I think as a business, if I'm running the gym as a business, I can't just get stuck on one discipline. I can't just get stuck. And hey, if I honestly tell you, it's sad in Queensland. Our Muay Thai classes, man, when I was, I don't know, 17, 18, and I ran tribal Muay Thai at Stafford, we had 80, 90 people in each class. Now, man, you're flat out getting 20 people in a class in Muay Thai. You know what I mean? So it's the ups and downs. Boxing, man, I get embarrassed sometimes. Steve Wajenko's boxing class, there's 60 people in it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Every afternoon, 2 in a row, bang, bang. Like you can't. I think out of COVID, boxing's become stronger and Muay Thai's just died.
That's why Thai's so rich.
Yeah.
And it's probably more of an opportunity, like when you got boys like Rocky who have a shitload of talent but can easily do either. But you look at it realistically and think, well,
look,
fuck, is he going to?
Kieran, I'll tell you a funny one. Rocky goes to fight Fred Mugabe, and Fred Mugabe, if you just look him up on Google and that, the guy's had a lot of fights, Aboriginal fighter. Yeah. And all these boxing guys are looking at us saying, wow, you're crazy. Fred's so good, so much experience. And I'm thinking, oh, don't worry about Rocky's 50 Muay Thai fights. That's nothing. Don't worry about it. Rocky punched the fuck out of him in like the first round. We nearly fought the whole crowd after the show. They wanted to kill us because they thought we stitched them up. But at the end of the day, people don't respect the boxing side of Muay Thai. They think, oh, yeah, man, you go to Thailand, most gyms spar. Say they spar boxing Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Like that's a lot of rounds with those big gloves on mucking around. Like you got to learn not to get hit in the head.
Is Rocky going to keep doing the boxing fights, or was that just because he hasn't really had much?
It's because we couldn't get him a fight anywhere else. But he definitely booked on Eternal 19th of March. First MMA fight. Yeah. So, but look, Rocky's that sort of kid that could go boxing, Muay Thai, MMA. Like, doesn't matter what discipline. He's that mentally strong and talented. He can easily divide.
He looks like one of those kids where because when people go from Muay Thai to boxing and they really struggle to take the Muay Thai hat off or the boxing hat off, and that just fucking turns into a mishmash. Yeah. When you see him even hitting pads, or even the way that he was moving in that fight, you could tell that he'd taken that hat off and putting the boxing on.
Exactly, Andrew. Like he knows, hey, I'm doing Muay Thai, this is how I'm going to fight. I'm doing boxing, this is how I'm going to fight. And what people don't realize, he's got a little bit of ground game as well. I can't comment. I'm no fucking wrestling guy, and I'll never say I am. But what I see with my eyes, man, I've seen enough in Brazil and that. I reckon Rocky goes all right on the ground.
Because you went and were striking coach with Tim Nogueira for a while.
Yeah, I went there for 5 or 6 weeks through that elite boxing. It was all right, but like same thing. Like I think that the Brazilians are the Thais of South America. Hello to all the Brazilian people.
Good thing the borders are closed. We're not going anywhere.
Hey, there goes 1,000 followers on my Insta. Bang, gone.
All right, Si, make sure you hit us up. How many people unsubscribe again this week? Every week we're getting better and better.
Nah, look, you know, I tease about the cultural stuff, Thais and Brazilians, that, but in the end of the day, it's just the people that hang around fight sports. You know what I mean? Yeah. You meet, and in anything in life, you meet good people, you meet bad ones.
And I think Nugget, I think jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai kind of got kicked out of my gym within like 6 months of each other. And it wasn't actually ever the Thais or the Brazilians. It was the
participants.
The participants who were more about the cultural stuff than the actual sport.
Yeah.
So like they became more about all the Muay Thai like lifestyle.
So you didn't know, if you eat Thai food, you become expert at Thai boxing. And if you eat Japanese food, you become a karate master. Man, it's easy. It's not that hard.
And you need to have the accent.
You got to have.
You got to pronounce the words. You got to speak in pidgin.
Yeah,
That might go on YouTube, boys. By the way. And how about the young fellow? Is he 18 yet?
Kane, yeah.
Kane.
But sorry, I'm sorry to tell the Muay Thai world, straight to wrestling. He'll be starting. He'll be having an MMA fight straight away next year.
Oh,
as well.
really?
Yeah, he's been doing a lot of weights and strength and conditioning stuff. He had a small injury that he's fixed, which put him off the Thai boxing a bit, and then he's been every Wednesday he spars, and he's moving really good.
So Nugget, who helps out now other than yourself with the Muay Thai program though?
Me, Frankie. I got Max Bone Man helps me heaps. Bone Man does a lot. Just a young bloke in the gym doing his thing, but he's a good young bloke. A lot of people say he reminds them of a young Soren. So same thing. He's always with me, always running around for me. Yeah.
And so do you have a temptation, I mean, to get into promoting MMA or?
Nah, no, look, at the moment, I'm just focusing on the gym. We do have a promotional group for EP that will be doing boxing, Muay Thai, and a little bit of MMA, I suppose. But that's just like we're just toying with it, playing with it.
What's it called? EP?
For EP.
Ah.
4 Elements Promotions. It's lurking around.
Yeah, it looks very Russian, the writing.
Yeah. A lot of people say that. Yeah. It looks a bit Serb, looks a bit Russian. Who knows? And the colors, black and gold, you can't beat it.
But so now the 2 of the boys are fighting MMA. Is there anyone we need to keep an eye on in the Muay Thai community coming through Muay Thai?
Look, I've got that young boy Isaiah. He's really something. That kid's something special. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
For his mindset, and you know Andrew yourself and Kieran would know, when there's parents that are good for their kids in fight sport, and there's fucking parents that are terrible. He's got a golden dad. The dad is our clubman of the year here. Fucking does all the barbecues Friday nights, Saturday mornings. And he's just a good old Islander bloke. His name's Brownie, but his son is so well mannered, and he never comes here to fuck around. Like, he comes every day to train as hard as he can. So I think he'll be, and I've told him, he said the other day, I said, because he kept looking at the wrestling area and that, Rocky and that are mucking around. I said, hey, you're not allowed to go to MMA until you've had 50 fights. And I said, how many fights you had? And he said, 12 or something. And I said, they don't count. The only fight that counts is the one I did your corner last. And he goes, oh, why? And I said, because that one I sat there, I think you fought good. I said, so you're on 1. You got 49 to go, and then you can have an MMA fight.
Yeah. Did you guys see any of the big boxing shows the last 2 nights?
Go again?
The 2 No Limits boxing shows.
I watched the one where Faris fought. The French, the dark guy,
he fought on Tuesday.
Reynolds.
Yeah, box.
Yeah, I watched that one, and I watched the main event on that. I didn't watch the boxing last night, I won't lie. As soon as I saw football players, hey,
oh man,
if I want to watch a football player, I'll watch him fucking throw a ball around. I didn't watch him throw stupid punches.
I can't believe I spent $60 on the pay-per-view again. I keep telling myself not to do it. It was fucking horrendous.
But Si, when you do spend that $60, you're supporting fight sport, and we're all growing.
We are.
Hey, that's it.
Fuck boxing. No.
Hey, but that's what Gallen said at the end, and I like Paul Gallen because
Andrew, I'm with you. Paul Gallen's come to my gym. Fucking one of the most politest dudes I've ever met. Hey, he sparred. I saw him spar good guys.
Yeah,
I can't.
he's a nice guy.
I just can't agree with the other. You know, these footballers that jump in.
Nah.
Hey, are they going to pay us money to fucking run around playing football? No. So why should we pay him money running around throwing stupid punches?
That's what he said at the end of his interview, and it was real good. Like he come out and I can't remember the exact words, but he was like, "Look, boxing people give me heaps of shit." And last night, like the night before, they had half a crowd just for boxing. They had the footy people there. It was packed. And he said, well, where are all the boxing people now? We're doing this for the sport. And he was sitting next to, what's his name? Alex. Oh, shit, I should know his name. Yeah, Volkanovski. And he said, look, man, he apologized to him when he said that he'd been offered $4 million to fight Sonny Bill Williams. And he goes, look, I'm sorry because I know, you know, what you earn, but I've been offered $4 million to fight him. And then he said, look, I only do this to help boxing and help bring a few people up under us. And, you know, having Aussie fight before him for his pro debut, you know, that was like him trying to help the sport out. And then he gave his 20K knockout bonus. He gave 10K to him and 10K to the other boy, which I thought was really, really good. And it shows that he appreciates the sport rather than just being a douchebag. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's that same thing. You watch Paul Gallen versus Lucas Brown. Big disappointment, that fight. But then Lucas Brown came to the music hall here, and there's an Islander fighter called Django. And hey, I know him personally. Django's a tough cunt. Man, Lucas Brown stopped him. I saw it with my own eyes. So you got to learn to appreciate the stuff that you like and it's good, and then let go of the bullshit stuff. And it's. I think I'm getting older and maturer.
So speaking of sparring of boxing, Ricky E. Silva.
Ricky, I got in trouble last time because I called him the long name. That bikini model, remember that little fat thing? That was her last name, De Silva. But E. Silva. And you know, here's another one for you. So you ask, people are always going to talk shit and say stuff, but you have to remember, where are they now? You know, in life, there's a million people that are going to tell you stuff. Oh, yeah, I think you should do this, and I think you should do that. Well, why are you living in a house commission house? Why? If you're so fucking smart, why would I listen to you? You gotta be very careful who you take advice off in life. Yeah, and I think the whole saying of where are they now is perfect for me at this stage in my life.
The reason I brought it up,
if you didn't see my Rolex last week, as I was sitting at Henniker's restaurant.
That place looked amazing.
It's a really beautiful place. It's owned by a guy called Simon Gloftus, and his father. There's two brothers, Paul Gloftus and Simon Gloftus, and their dad is Jim Gloftus. And if you know the history of Queensland Thai boxing, Jim Gloftus did a lot for John Wayne Park. Supported him a lot in the day, and Paul Briggs as well.
So I think when we go up there for the next eruption, Kieran's going to take us out for dinner there.
Oh, Kieran.
Don't rely on Kieran for food, man.
Bring your wallet, the guy.
He's got the busiest pure Muay Thai.
Kieran, next time the three of you come to Queensland or individually, I'm going to take you out for dinner.
Oosh.
There you go.
Anyway, so the reason I was asking about Rick E. Silva, there was a little rumor video. I didn't see the video, but there was a rumor that he sparred a very big name in boxing and might have given him a small nap.
At my Christmas party just gone on the weekend, Justice Hooney's cousin was there, a girl, and she was very well spoken and and we tipped on that subject. And at the end of the day, we didn't leak that footage.
No,
I'm not going to say who leaked the footage, but obviously someone that knows me, and it's not hard to think, man, I pay a company to run the cameras, don't I? So someone from there's probably shuffled it across, thought they weren't doing anything wrong, but it just went viral. But did it happen? Yes, it did happen. Has it happened to other fighters that are even more famous than him? There's a few more as well. It happens at fight gyms, but now I have total control of what goes out. They can't see anything. So that doesn't happen here anymore.
Nugget, one of the things I think you know, every state's got its thing. But I think one of the things that I don't know, what do you think about the state of the officiating in Queensland? I know
Go again, what?
The state of the officiating.
Look,
I know, you used to bring Elias and those guys.
Look,
to
you guys know, and Andrew and Kieran would agree, I think, with me. You can't beat Elias as a referee. Not just that his knowledge and skill, but actually his passion and that he loves his job. If we could get Elias to be the head referee for the whole of Australia and go to different, even if he has to share with other associations, I don't care. As long as everyone's on the same page of the rules of Thai boxing. If everyone follows the same rules, the sport's going to grow. But when we've got these donuts, you know, like living in the past, his punching isn't as hard. You don't count punching as much because it's the only gloved part of the body, this and that. Like, at the end of the day, you've got to all get on the same page. Once that happens, then people won't fight as much about the results and whatnot. But I have seen some terrible decisions in Queensland.
Do you think a lot of it in New South Wales and Victoria, there's a combat sports board and there's a lot of bad stuff that goes along with it.
Yeah.
But the good thing is that they turn to bodies like MTA and guys like Elliot to say, these are the approved refs. Like, these are the referees that we recommend to be put through. Whereas, like, often when you go to Queensland and like we all go there quite regularly for fights, you in New South Wales and Vic, you always see those same few guys. Like, there's a few guys and guys like Elias and Trevor, but you go to Queensland and there's just new people popping up and you wonder, fuck, like, did someone just not show up and they've grabbed someone from the gym and thrown them on?
Look, Kieran, at the end of the day, the boards, as much as people think we don't want them in Queensland, I think the board would be a good thing here. With the right people organised to be on it, you could not go wrong. But in the back in the day, we had like a group that would run. It was the same people at the shows. Me and Josh Sexton, Evo, Joe Hilton at Edamoga, Richard and Rob Fogarty with Detonation, Mark Pease on the Gold Coast, and Mr. Demicoli in Brisbane with Eruption. So we didn't run like a board, but we had the same judges and the same refs, and it was like a small community. Now, I think, as I said, the dudes earlier in the conversation, the dudes that think they're running Queensland are just fucking it every day. And like, hey, it embarrasses me when guys like yourself and Andrew come and get that sort of bad decisions and things, because there was a time when you guys looked up to Queensland and thought, wow, Queensland's the place. But now it's the reverse. I look at Melbourne and Sydney and think, fuck, they're doing so good. They're doing so right. Say, even with you guys, your gym, Kieran, look at your gym, what you've done in Canberra. And I know there's a lot of politics in Canberra and a lot of this and that. What you've done with your gym is amazing. You've got guys, and David Benavid moving there, different guys, the boy from Perth that moved there, Max McVicker. Man, you've got a good stable of dudes and they're all growing together. And Andrew's gym, man, how can you not want to go there? You get taught by the Thais.
Yeah, but he's there too.
Yeah.
There too. That's why you don't want to go.
Of course he's there. Hey,
I got to keep them together somehow. I got to keep on working.
Andrew, I know your pain. I know your pain.
Look at my head.
I went from working with Thais to Islanders. Oh my God. They all want to kill each other.
They like country music, apparently.
The amount of calls I get, hey, Nugget, can you open your gym? We want to fight this guy. We just locked the door. Cut it out. Behave yourself. I'm not 12.
Too good. Too good.
Nugget, traveling around, I know it hasn't happened a lot in the last couple of years. Which fighter impresses you the most?
Look, I'm not sucking Andrew off here, but I really like his boy Ibrahim. I really like that boy. I watched him that night at Eruption. He was just cool, calm, did his thing. I think, if I was honest, I don't really go around and watch the fights anymore. Once I get to the fights, I start talking shit with people, and next thing you know, the show's over. Yeah, but there's not that. look, there's not that many fighters out there anymore. There's a big difference between guys. I believe now you got guys in our day, there were guys that were fighters that you could just tell. They didn't give a fuck about money. They just wanted to fight good. Now you get these Insta fighters and they want to tell you, yeah, I got this many followers and I got this many guy and I do this and I do that. But how many fights have you had, mate? Oh, 7. It's sad.
I find there's more. I'm finding there's more of them in MMA at the moment. It's really interesting watching some of them go around. Like, and I've spoken to Suman, the guys who do the Urban Fight Night, and
yeah, from Australia.
Yeah, and I like what they do in that they're a proper fucking fight gym. They're not.
Yeah.
Because in Sydney, we've got a lot of MMA gyms. It's probably like you guys got a lot of Muay Thai gyms that aren't legit gyms, whereas they do it because they want to fight and they got proper fighters there. Whereas the other ones, you see them and they're like, oh, what are you doing? Yeah, I'm an MMA fighter. Like, really? How many fights you had? Oh, I'm due for my debut on.
Yeah.
Yeah. How does that?
But it's that same thing. You can never ever fix all the idiots. Yeah. What the people that are legit and that need to come together more. And if we come together more, it squashes out the little rodents that run and hide under the rocks and that.
And I think about it when I look like the younger Demicoli who runs that Oz Muay Thai,
Jacob.
Yeah. And I look at some of them and I think, like, when I think about them, those like the fights and like Nugget, the Evos that you used to put on and like the early and mid 2000s and some of the late 90s. And the way I used to think about them back then, I don't know if it's just because I was younger and you were always following it and watching it, but I don't think about shows or fighters the same way anymore. And I wonder, is that just nostalgia? Is that just me like thinking back going, fuck, that was a cool time, all these guys. But I feel like when you would think about Dane and Soren, Bruce, Wayne, like all of these guys, I feel like, is it nostalgia? I don't think about guys the same way anymore. I don't hold them the same in my head, or am I just getting...
I think it's that thing, because I suffer from it heap, because I think, fuck, am I just being a nasty old cunt and just thinking that, wow, yeah, the old days is better? But I actually believe that they were better. Like the fighters carried themselves differently. That they just trained harder, I think. Like, don't get me wrong, there's guys, hey, Rocky trains the house down. I'm sure David Penelope trains the house down. I'm sure Andrew's girl, what's her name, B, the fight, all those people, all the new generation, they all fight strong and train hard. But I just think people forget, you can't forget about the fighting. Like that's the most important part. You're paid to fight good. Yeah, I don't know. When you say nostalgia and that, I get it, because like I look back to people I used to look up to and think, fuck. But I don't know. I think just the whole thing, COVID, everything, it's just changed. It's not just changed fight sports, it's changed the world. So
it was crazy talking about MMA. You know, the weekend we had Rebellion on. My mates had an MMA show on the Sunday. It was a pro-am. And I spoke to him the other day, and he said 6 days out, they had 7 pro fights and 6 amateur fights. By fight night, they had 1 pro fight left. They had all the other pro fights pulled out. And they can still run with a bunch of amateurs and interclub matches and stuff, because MMA gets treated differently here. Like, we need to have a certain number of pro fights. And then he started telling me like the stuff that they have to go through to match MMA fighters. And they basically, it's becoming like the boxing thing where they want to be undefeated because they've got something.
This whole zero thing, get rid of the man. I hate it. Back in the day, it's funny you just bring it up, Si, about like the show started, had 6 fights here, 6 fights, and then on the night there's 1 pro fight and 5 fights. A golden rule we had back in the day was, and this is the truth, and if you look at my old gym, I always had at one division, say a featherweight, I had Daddy Cool, Gott, Kevin NTG, then it say light, super light, you know, like the different weights. I'd have Soren, Ben Radley, I had different boys at all different divisions. So if my boy had to pull out because he was sick or something wrong, broken hand, whatever, there's a million excuses. My boys didn't really pull out in the old days anyway. But if a boy pulled out, your job as the trainer was to help the promoter replace that kid and get him a fight. And that's one golden rule I think that people are forgetting in fight sport, that you don't just say, oh, sorry, Si, my boy can't fight. Oh, bad luck, see you later. Good luck, mate. And that's it. Fucking help the promoter, because you've just fucking done the wrong thing and pulled the guy out. You need to at least assist or try to give some help to find him a match, because the promoter's the one that's stuck with no fight.
Yeah.
There's no shame. There's no one's got shame in fight sport anymore. You know what I mean? They can prance in, they pull out of the fight and they walk into the show as if they're some man. You pulled out, stay home. Or come in and put your head down.
I'm going to say sorry.
Yeah.
The other one that's maybe about having no shame, when you had guys fighting on Evo, I mean, Evo sold because he had the Evo name and you guys did all the marketing and stuff. But was there an expectation that all the fighters understood that they needed to pull their weight in ticket sales?
Look, this is where Josh Sexton came in as, hey, he was my great mate, and also like as a businessman, probably one of the smartest businessmen I've met to this day in my life. Josh was very honest and very transparent and would explain to the fighters, if you want to make more money, you have to sell tickets. If you don't want to sell tickets and you just want to get your first, here's 5,000 or here's 3,000 or here's this. But if you want to make 8,000, you want to make 15,000, you want to make 10, 20,000, that you have to sell. You have to sell. Bruce McPhee versus John Wayne, the last fight where Bruce wears pink shorts, that's the perfect example of ticket selling. Because whether you believe Bruce won or you didn't think he won, he sold that many tables that every time he fucking touched John Wayne, the crowd cheered. So, you know, when people talk about fight sport, like, hey, it's not that it's cheating, but swaying the judges. There's the perfect one. You sell out the thing. You got one, your grandma's up the back. Go, Billy. Go, Billy. But you got the whole fucking venue screaming, raw, when Steve hits someone. You have to play the game. Fight sport isn't just about fight. There's so much more to fight sports than there is just training and then having a fight. You have to, it's a strategic war. You go to war. That's just me anyway. Maybe I'm a bit fucking crazy. I don't know.
So what's coming up for you guys? Obviously the Christmas break, but after that, do you have more of the in-house shows coming? Is Mr. Demacaulay, when's the next eruption?
Look, I can't talk for Mr. Demacaulay in eruption, but he's had a pretty big I will go on the record of saying he's had a big 3 weekends, so I think he needs to stay home this weekend and have a bit of a rest. I think if you watch the Rocky footage, that's where it all starts. And I'm pretty sure you saw my ripped jeans that I had on. That cunt spilt red wine all over them. So, yeah. I think he's had a few big weekends, and Mr. Demacaulay should stay home until the new year.
Doctor's orders. Do you have any of the in-house shows coming up?
We'll have some. Steve usually organised all that. I'm pretty lucky. I got a good crew around me, and that they take care of me, and we work as a team. But when it comes to all that, Steve does all the in-house stuff and the boxing stuff. Mr. Demacaulay does all the management stuff and that.
Nugget, did Steve do the Mundine Wayne Parr show?
Yes, Steve Wajenko did do that. And I'm going to tell you a funny story, even though you'll kill me on this. He comes to me and says, Nugget, you did Evo. I want to ask you, come on, brother. I want to ask you a question. Can you help me? I said, yeah, bro, I can help you. He says to me, I've got the choice of doing this stadium at 6,000 people, or I can do this stadium at 20,000 people. Which one would you do? And I said, bro, no brainer. Go the $6,000 so you don't lose too much money if it doesn't go good. And he says, okay, thanks, brother. And he goes to Mr. Demacaulay, asks the same question. Mr. Demacaulay gives him the exact same answer. Then he asked one other person in my gym, which I'm not going to mention who it was. But that person said, do it, brother. go big or go home. He went home. But if you look at the production of that show, that was a fucking magnificent show, and a credit to him.
Did the person who said go big, does his name rhyme with Paddy Moole?
No, no. Daddy Cool had nothing to do with that one. I'm gonna say this. He's a very flashy guy. Pick that side.
Frankly, let's just leave it be.
let's just leave it there. You don't call him Hollywood for nothing.
I was gonna start singing a song.
Awesome. Boys, just a quick one. You guys who do watch too much fights, it's our last episode for the year, so it's been great to get Nugget on. Your fight of the year.
Oh
And
shit!
threw that one on.
That was hot, man. What the
Oh,
fuck?
come on. How many
How old
fights?
are you?
Like 3 shows.
We're the most unprepared, unprofessional show in the world, and you fucking put that shit on us. Oh, I don't know, man. Fuck, I'm lost. What do you got then?
Yeah, you go first, man. We'll go last. You go first.
Sorry, it sounds like you're selling them the dump.
Oh, fuck. I don't actually remember any of the fights this year.
How about we'll go our own personal for our own gym? How about we do that? That's like Andy.
You're such a gentleman. See, there you go.
There we go.
My highlight this year was for my boy beating Jen. Even watching Darren and Ibby, my 2 boys who did really well this year, and my real highlight was watching Ibby fight like a top tide that he looked up to and do really well, man. So that was mine.
Mine would be, I guess, both the Martin sisters. So Diandra obviously beating Yolanda, and then her sister Davina the weekend before beating Som, and then getting the Jordan Coe Award on Rebellion. So I put the 2 girls, the 2 sisters for me.
See,
I obviously didn't watch a lot of fights because every time the only places running shows with WA, and by the time those shows start, I fall asleep because it's the time difference. But I think I really enjoyed Darren and Carter.
yeah, it's a good fight.
Yeah. When are you going back to Perth, Nugget?
Oh, not for a while. Wait, hated in the West for being the best. I'll just leave it there.
I had to lob that up for you. All right, guys. Well, good luck with everything, Nugget. Hopefully we get to see you in Victoria next year.
Yeah, man. To be honest, I'm dying to get down to one of your shows, and I'm dying to get down to one of Andrew's. Hey, man, just the freedom of being able to say, okay, I want to go here.
Yeah,
it sort of sucks a bit.
Yeah. No, it'll be good.
But if you all persevere, we'll get through it.
hey, one team, one dream.
Yeah, one team, one dream.
Awesome, guys. Oh, wait, Peter Sherwood's stupid joke.
Oh, here we go.
He's done a joke.
Who did this joke?
Peter Sherwood. You'll know, Pete. What's ET short for?
Tell us.
He's got little legs.
Fuck off.
I think he was thinking he was having a go at you, Kieran. It's a leg.
Good one. Yeah, nice. See you next year, Si. See you next year.